Today we will discuss the concept of accelerator. Accelerator is somewhat similar to that of multiplier concept, as well as it can be even called as an opposite version of multiplier. So the principle of acceleration is known by different names. It can be called as accelerator, it can be called as principle of accelerated derived demand, etc. This concept was first propounded by J.M. Clark and later it was popularized by Keynes. A number of economists like Harrod, Samuelson, Hicks, Calder. So these are some of the economists related or associated with this concept of accelerator. So basically you know what an multiplier is. Multiplier shows the effect of investment on consumption, right? So if there is a public expenditure of or public investment is there, or government is investing on roads or schools or bridges, some kind of investment is there by government, there will be subsequent or resultant increase in consumption will also happen, is what we studied in multiplier. So if there is an investment, there will be an increase in consumption. The level or rate at which an increase in consumption is happening, whether it will be doubled, whether it will be tripled, or it will be 4 times more than that of the initial investment, is what we studied in multiplier. But accelerator shows the effect of a change in consumption on investment. Multiplier shows the effect of investment on consumption. Accelerator shows the effect of consumption on investment, just the opposite. Suppose if you are consuming more, how does it affect the investment, is what being shown through accelerator. What is the effect of your consumption on investment is being shown through accelerator concept. The increment in the demand for consumption goods will cause an increase in demand for capital goods. How does it do that? Suppose if there is an increment in demand for consumption goods, some of you are demanding more of consumer goods, it will cause an increase in demand for equipments or machineries required to produce those consumer goods. So it's an indirect or derived demand. Directly the demand is not related to each other. It is not a direct demand, it is derived demand. You are demanding consumer goods, indirectly you are demanding capital goods as well. When you demand consumer goods, it will result in an increase in demand for machineries and equipments required to produce those consumer goods. So you are indirectly demanding capital goods. Okay, so it is, the flow chart goes like this. When income increases, suppose there is any kind of increase in your income, you start demanding more of consumer goods, and which in turn will increase the demand for capital goods. The increase which happens in the demand for capital goods is much more than that of the demand of consumption goods. I will explain it through example. Suppose you are demanding a packet of chips. You are demanding potato chips, which is a consumer good. Consumer good in the sense which can be directly consumed, which need not be processed further. You can directly consume those goods. So when you are demanding a packet of chips, there are many other things which you are demanding indirectly. Like, to produce that potato chips, there has to be a machine for that. There has to be raw materials which may include potatoes, spices and oil. It has to be packed, it has to be printed, marketing has to be done, laborers has to be employed to operate that machine, human capital is required, even financial capital is required, cash or investment has to be there. So you are demanding just one packet of chips. In turn, there are a lot of industries which are happening behind. So your demand of consumer goods is indirectly affecting the demand for capital goods as well. Capital goods in the sense machines, equipments, and other human capital, financial capital, or some kind of factors of production. So thus, while there is an increase in demand for consumer goods, it will automatically increase the demand for capital goods as well. Okay, so demand for such machines is more than that of the demand for chips. Okay, so an increase in capital goods will be more than that of the demand for consumption goods. You may be just demanding one packet of chips, but the machines bought for making or producing that chips will be demanded more than that of the demand for chips, because it is produced in huge level, huge large scale production will be done. You are just demanding one packet, and in the capital good market maybe 10 machineries will be demanded, right? So when there is an increase in consumption goods more than that level of increase in consumption good, capital goods industry will grow more than that of consumer goods industry. Okay, so the acceleration principle measures the change in investment goods industry as a result of change in consumption goods industry, right? In simple words, the principle of acceleration states that an increase in demand for consumption goods result in several times increase in demand for capital goods. Okay, so acceleration coefficient is equal to increase in investment divided by increase in consumption. Again, there is an alignment issue when I am transferring the stuff to mobile. The alignment is changing. Accelerator coefficient is being shown through alpha is equal to, it is delta I by delta C. The deltas has gone up, it is actually delta I by delta C. That is, coefficient of acceleration is a numerical value of relationship between an increase in investment via increase in consumption. Symbolically, it is represented as delta I by delta C. Okay, so even you can see the example related to that on the slide. Consumption expenditure increased by 10 crore. There has been an increase in consumption worth 10 crore, which resulted in an increase in investment of industries worth 20 crore. So with that itself you can see that consumption expenditure is just 10 crore. The resultant increase in capital goods market or investment in industries worth 20 crore has happened. That is more than that of the investment in consumer goods. How to calculate the accelerator? Delta I by delta C. What is delta I here? Investment of industries, that is 20 crore divided by delta C, that is 10 crore. 20 by 10, 20 divided by 10, 2 is the accelerator. That means there has been 2 double effect or double accelerator has happened. When there is just 10 crore increase in demand, which resulted in 20 crore increase in investment in capital goods market. That is doubling of acceleration has happened. Okay, the value of acceleration coefficient depends upon capital output ratio and the durability of capital goods. Capital output ratio in the sense how much of capital is required to produce the level of output, and durability of capital equipment is how long can a capital equipment can be used. What is the life span of a capital? Suppose a machine is being bought and it can be used for 5 years, that is the durability of capital equipment. So acceleration basically depends upon capital output ratio, that is how much level of capital is required to produce a certain level of output, and the durability of capital goods. Higher the capital output ratio and higher or greater the durability of capital equipment, greater will be the effect of acceleration. That is, the essence or the link between capital and the consumption is very important here. Suppose the accelerator can be greater than 1, less than 1, or it can be equal to 0. If production is not at all linked with capital goods, there has been an increase in consumption, and to increase the level of consumption there is no machinery is not been involved at all. If that is the level of, that is the kind of production process where no machine is involved, then the accelerator will be 0, because no machine is involved. If there is increase in demand also, there will not be any increase in capital market, because there is no machines being used for production process. So accelerator will remain 0 for such traditional economy. It is only possible in subsistence or traditional economy where there is no machinery is involved. It's a kind of capital saving technique being used. Okay, accelerator can be equal to 1 also. That means if the production process needs proportional capital per unit of output, right? Suppose there is an increase in consumption expenditure of 10 crore, proportional level of investment in capital market, that is increase in capital market, will also be 10 crore. That is proportional increase in both the markets, both in consumption market and in capital market. That then the accelerator will be equal to 1. Accelerator can be greater than 1 as well. That is the case of this example. That is, consumption expenditure is just 10, but the investment happened doubled. That means accelerator is greater than 1, that is equal to 2. So that is different values of accelerator is what I mentioned here. So you can even write down when you are writing notes. I have not mentioned it in the slide. Accelerator can be equal to 0. Accelerator will be equal to 0 when the production is not at all linked with any capital goods, which may happen in subsistence or traditional economy. Then the accelerator can enjoy a value equal to 0 if technical changes are capital saving. There is no capital being used in the production process. Accelerator can be equal to 1, A equal to 1, or alpha equal to 1 can happen if production process needs proportional capital per unit of output. Whatever increase in consumption expenditure happen, same level of investment in capital goods also will happen. Proportional change happen. Then accelerator will be equal to 1. Accelerator can be equal or greater than 1 if the production process requires more capital per unit of output. Then their accelerator will be greater than 1. Even accelerator can be less than 1 as well. If the production process requires less capital, that is less proportional to that of increase in consumption. Suppose there is same example we are using. Suppose there is an increase in consumption expenditure by 10 crore. An increase in investment of industries worth 5 crore is happening. Then accelerator is less than 1. 0.5 will be the accelerator. So different values of accelerator can happen. So basically the principle of acceleration state that increase in the level of production, there will be increase in capital goods as well. Increase in capital goods rely on capital output ratio and durability of that capital. Okay, so I hope this is clear.